Alrighty, well, ignore the garb that I'm currently wearing, and yes, I do plan on doing some more Minnesota Wild videos soon and all that stuff, but I'll probably wait till we get closer to the actual Four Nations tournament and stuff like that. But I figure I should probably jump on here because, well, we have some pretty big Minnesota sports news just in general. Just a little over a week after the 2024 season has ended, the official Minnesota Vikings, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, Minnesota Vikings news. The Vikings and head coach Kevin O'Connell have agreed to a contract extension. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, KOC is not going anywhere, and for that I say cheers. Now, as far as all the details and all that stuff are concerned, I'm not exactly sure what the details are, like how many years and this and that and the other thing, but if there's any more big updates or anything like that, I'll try to make an update video, but it is, of course, probably one of the biggest, I wouldn't say secrets or anything like that, because, like I say, this is, again, one of the more worst kept secrets in the NFL, that the Vikings and the Wilfs were going to eventually come together to give KOC a contract extension. It just wasn't exactly 100% sure on all the details and this and that, the other thing. But as of about 10 to 15 minutes ago, Tuesday, January 21st at 3:51 p.m. Central Standard Time, Kevin O'Connell and the Minnesota Vikings have agreed to a contract extension. So, what are my actual general thoughts on this? Cheers. Because, well, let's be honest here. I mean, Kevin O'Connell coming in after the Zimmer regime, Spielman regime, of what was just a very toxic, interesting, weird. I'm not exactly 100% sure how I want to classify it, but it definitely was toxic by the end of everything said and done. He came in, helped develop Justin Jefferson, got the most out of a Kirk Cousins quarterback that I think pretty much anybody would have ever guessed would have happened. Regardless of what your thoughts were on Kirk Cousins, this and the other thing. I mean, he did give us a few really, really good seasons. But yeah, KOC got the most out of him towards the tail end of his career. He managed to turn Sam Darnold around, which, again, up until the beginning of this year, he was more known for a punchline in the NFL versus an actual steady, solid quarterback. Granted, the last two games and stuff like that didn't necessarily go the greatest, but again, there's only so much you can do there, this, that, and the other thing. Doesn't necessarily take away from the fact that Darnold had a great year leading up to the last two games, even if the last two games, as I've said before, were less than spectacular. But again, Kevin O'Connell and what I would assume to be Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, if they already haven't extended him, probably will extend both of them for about the same length, would be my guess, because now we actually get to see what KOC and Kwesi can do with a team that is fully under their eye, fully under their regime, because this was really the first year that this was KOC and Kwesi's team. Versus a lot of the Spielman and Zimmer leftovers, with the exception of like Justin Jefferson. But I mean, let's be honest here. Justin Jefferson is Randy Moss of the 2020s. I mean, if you're a Vikings fan, that's easy. I mean, JJ is that dude. He got his contract extension. Hawkinson will be here for a while. Addison will at least be here for another year or two. Give or take, we'll just kind of see how the offseason goes and all that stuff. But, hey, I mean, KOC is building a culture building a locker room that people want to come to. Him and Kwesi have been absolutely amazing for the culture of this team. Especially because, again, as I mentioned earlier, the whole Zimmer-Spielman being as toxic as it was at the end. I can understand why a lot of players might not have wanted to come back or, this, that, or the other thing. But, hey, at the end of the day, KOC, Kwesi, they've done a masterful job for the most part. I mean, whatever you want to say here and there, but it's, again, now we can actually see what KOC and Kwesi can do with a young quarterback with great pieces around him. Granted, the draft this year might not be a lot of big picks just because, the whole thing with Turner and J.J. McCarthy being drafted last year, kind of trading up a few picks and stuff like that. But, hey, I mean, the Vikings still have a first-round pick, probably in the mid to late 20s, but here we are. I mean, KOC is officially back in Minnesota for a long-term deal. Hey, why not? Let's keep this train going here because, as I mentioned before, he's gotten more out of teams that a lot of coaches and coordinators and, even general managers would have been maybe half as lucky to have. So, 14-3 this year with Sam Darnold. Kirk Cousins, 2 years, coming off of his best football ever. Then going to Atlanta and, 35-year-old coming off of an Achilles injury. This, that, and the other thing. But the future is bright in Minnesota. The future is definitely bright in Minnesota. I just hope that he's finally the one that can get us over this hump. That can finally get us over the Minnesota sports curse. But hey, KOC is officially back. But yeah, I think that'll pretty much wrap up this video before I continue to ramble on too much more here. So until we meet again, this is Jacob. Have a good day.